If you won the Battle of Helm's Deep, would you throw a sword up in the air?
As their gallant battle ended, so too ends the first great tale of the Lord of the Rings.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick, John, Expert Kyle, and the sword-tossing Gandalf. We're talking about Helm's Deep. Check out Pinkos with Zero for all of Kyle's awesome Instagram artwork. Check out AsArt. That's basically the audio and video links for the type of content we release.
By the way, guys, we are doing an in-depth study on the animated Lord of the Rings versus the live action. We have awkward walk cycles too. Is this Gimli or Boromir? Moments. It's been so much fun. And we have Man, Bear, Pig, Balrog. Subscribe. Check out the whole playlist. And this is nowhere close to being over. We want to go through the Return of the King animation. It's going to be so much fun.
I haven't seen daylight in 3 days. Help me.
All right, guys, so we'd like to read some comments from the other Lord of the Rings animated versus live action videos. We have one on our Hey Aragorn episode, one of my favorite ones. Check that out. The Lord of the Rings animated Ralph Bakshi. We have Hippo Juice 23, awesome name, by the way, says, who wears short shorts? In the name parentheses Aragorn. Aragorn, the ranger, is definitely sporting these short shorts in this. Daisy Dukes, whatever you want to call them.
You know,
he's got to stay breezy. He's got to stay breezy.
It makes perfect sense. If you guys watch It's Always Sunny, there's a whole episode why you need high shorts.
But check this out.
Go. Oh! Any more?
That's it, but that's pretty wide, right?
That is good.
That's good,
and
right?
you're not getting any high ride.
I'm getting a high ride,
better.
But the shorts aren't preventing me from doing what I need to do.
It's because you can stretch your legs out longer. And it's a flexibility when you're in the wild, protecting the shot. You need that extra little bit of flexibility. I'm telling you, you need it.
Like
All
that.
right.
I like
But you
that.
would have thought Sauron and Saruman would need short shorts too, because, they're doing some, some
They
heinous
technically don't have a body, right?
really short shorts then.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about Helm's Deep now.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think? I was like, this is Roto Battle Heaven.
All right, so yeah, it was intense.
Obviously, okay. It was intense.
Obviously, there's a bunch of caveats because this is towards the end of the film. I don't know where it was in the production cycle
and the budget.
Yeah, and the budget and strapped for time. There were some shots that just because of how they cast the orcs in the robes.
Yeah.
And where they're all running and stuff, it rather than looking like a Helm's Deep battle, it looked like a shot out of Lawrence of Arabia or something.
Yeah,
I was like, this is interesting, but like wrong movie, but all right. It's still cinematic.
It's tough though, like to think about the scope that they have to translate into animated. Like that's huge when it comes to numbers and armies and stuff.
And having to do it in one animated film for 2 movies is even worse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting because hardly ever, I can't think of any modern example, do you shoot a movie or animate a movie linearly. You usually jumping around, shooting things out of order, finishing shots out of order, and yet it does seem like the most polished work in this animated Lord of the Rings was at the beginning, and it kind of, I don't want to say fell off because I like the look of the entire movie, but it definitely got a little bit more rushed at the end. So we're talking about using Roto a lot in this to help aid the animation, but some of these look like really raw luma keys. And if you guys don't know what luma keys are, it's trying to separate stuff based on luminance. So if you have a character dressed in white and you have them against a black background, you can try and isolate that. And you see the spears that they're carrying kind of going in and out of actually appearing on screen. And that's usually something, if you have a bad green screen or blue screen key, for instance, or hair on a blue screen, green screen, it kind of goes in and out. You're like, oh, that's the thing you always want to avoid. And this happens a lot with some of the finer detail things here. And I just think probably based on the story, this has a very interesting story, this movie, this animated film, and budget and production and things like that. And I'm assuming near the end they just ran out of money. It's still a very cool look.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because like there's clear fast cuts and like a lot of motion happening, but then in other instances there isn't. Like if you take a look at some of the shots, it's just like a few like models just standing still, right? While like arrows are flying, and it's just like. Isn't this a siege? Like, isn't things like supposed to be crazy?
It's the best. I think there's also one too where they have like the massive army and you just see like one spear move.
Yep. Just to get some sense of movement amongst the troops, right?
But it's so funny because the guy holding it standing still, but you see the spear like,
yeah.
hello. I'm here. I'm
All right,
ready.
Bob.
Although one thing I did like that they didn't have in the movies was the magical attack from Isengard. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Triforce spirits creating Hyrule
Ooh,
in
yeah.
Ocarina of Time.
Although I couldn't get like Saruman's like voice out of my head. Him just going like, "I cast a magic missile," like, you know. And I was like, "Oh no, yeah."
Level 4 magic missile.
You know what, though?
Yeah.
I enjoyed Gimli's fight scene on top of the wall. I'm just bummed he just didn't get the nut shot like he did in the live action. Remember like when the orc comes up, he's like, "One." He didn't do that, but he was pretty good though on top, man. Gimli, man, Gimli, go.
Gimli,
you know,
great on top.
It's funny when I was reading about the.
Sorry.
When I was reading the production notes, some of the stories about this animated film, I remember they were saying, even though obviously you don't have the massive CGI technology they used in the Lord of the Rings films, still they had some pretty big sets of extras standing in for reference. And it's kind of crazy to think about that. And, you know, we're all laughing at the slight movement and bobbing of the spheres, but that is a technique. Anyway, if you're going to have something that's mostly non-animated, but you want to have it not feel like it's just a still frame, you subtly animate some clouds just barely moving or just a little bit to give it a sense that it has some motion. So they didn't do bad things here. It's just we're spoiled by what we've got in current offerings.
It's unfortunate too because a lot of these types of sequences are time driven, right? So and I mean like time in the sense of the buildup of tension before the battle, right? And then the actual battle and then the aftermath, right? And we sort of like in the animation, it's very rushed. It's like they are running for their lives to Helm's Deep. They just get there and then they're like attacked, right? It's happening really fast.
Battle time. Yeah.
Like in the film, like you get this build up, like these different characters,
intense
like
build up.
What can we do against such reckless hate? You know, like and just like all you know.
It's true.
I love King Theoden in the movies. It's great.
He's fantastic,
yeah, like
isn't he?
we're kind of robbed of that in this sense. Like, I just wish they would have had just
you're totally
little
right.
bit more time.
Yeah, the movie just set it up. Oh, he's like, no one in 1,000 years had broke this wall or whatever. You know, it's like okay, this is really setting up for the opposite to happen. We can hold it with 100 men. It's like, I don't know.
But it's important to have those lead up.
Oh, it totally is. It totally helps with the story overall. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally agree, John. John nailed it on the head, just like how Gandalf nailed some random guy on the head by throwing up his sword.
I'm going to be the new expert. Send me that pipe.
Okay.
You got it.
Let's talk about, so we have the epic where they ride out, right? Like, let's ride out for, great, fantastic. All right. And then they get out there and they're surrounded, right? They're totally surrounded. And then like 3 guys come over the hill. And the army freaks out and runs away. I love it. There's like only 3 guys. And then Gandalf's hat. I love how it falls off, but it stays hooked behind his head when he's riding the horse. I'm like, the Roto guy definitely had a rope around his hat.
What are you talking about, man? It's magic.
Yeah, it's magic.
He's keeping around with his magic powers.
White at this point. Yeah.
It's so funny though, because I wonder if it would have been harder to like just try to fix it and animate a hat cycle, or if it was easier just to roto it.
I think I can't remember if I saw some actual photos when they were shooting, but I'd be interested to see the set that they actually shot some of the reference on. I think that'd be fun to see. I don't know if that's out there anywhere. If you guys have any reference for that stuff, please send it along in the comments. We'd love to see some of the production photos that they have. I'm sure they're out there.
It's precious.
Well, just like at the end, right? Because right after Helm's Deep is essentially the end of the film, right? And and the thing about me is Gandalf did something completely out of character for me personally, like how I see Gandalf. He basically, as they're doing the voiceover, right, he throws up what I can only assume is Glamdring.
This is Glamdring, the foe hammer, sword of the king of Gondolin.
Right? Like it's a fucking high school graduation. Like, yeah! And like based on the shots that I saw after, he probably dropped. He has his staff in the next shot, so I'm like, who knows, right? Like, I don't know. It just seemed like something completely out of character for Gandalf to to do that.
Dude,
I don't know.
And it's also the best too because it sounds like they're ending the movie. They're like, and evil was no longer there. This is the first part of the adventure. It's like, wait, you said there's evil? Like, what's like they're ending it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like no more evil in the land or whatever. But then they're like, this is just the first part of the adventure. Join us for the rest. I was like, wait, what is going on here?
In a way, though, it's so quintessentially 70s. Like,
Yes,
for some reason,
definitely.
that shot of him throwing up the sword belongs alongside like Zardoz, right? That film with Sean Connery, right? Like, I don't know. It just makes sense for the decade it was in. I don't know.
So, okay, guys. So we finished the movie. We completed it. And if you guys had to pick which one you guys enjoyed more, was it the live action or the animation? Like, just pick one so it's settled once and for all. Please comment down below which one you guys liked the best. And maybe what episode was your favorite? Was it that man bear pig? Like, just let us know. I'm very interested. But now we're going to hear from John.
Hi. You know what? I have to say one of my favorite things about this animated Lord of the Rings, before I actually ever saw it, is there was a PC CD-ROM game of Lord of the Rings, and they used video clips from the game, from the movie in the game. I'm like, the graphics in this game are amazing. And then
wait, what game is this? I think we need to do a review on this for our gaming channel.
Yeah, I think it was Lord of the Rings. It was just a PC version.
Totally
so,
doing
anyway, yeah, we should totally. I never play it, which would be fun to track that down and play it. That'd be super, super fun. Yeah, but they had clips.
You've been holding out on us, John.
Well, I don't have the game, but it's cool because they put sequences from the movie in the game. I just think that's really, really cool. But so it's a fun part of film history. I remember when Peter Jackson was announced to be making this Lord of the Rings, Ralph Bakshi actually come out with a little quote or whatever, saying it would have been polite for him to at least have reached out and said, hey, here's do you have any things you learned from doing this or whatever like that. So it's kind of fun that, I'm sure on some level, some of the shots we've talked about, definitely mimic.
Off. Yeah.
Not ripped off, but borrowed, definitely
ripped off because he didn't ask for any permission. So I'm backing the boy up here, dude. I'm backing my boy up.
I think the only thing that Peter Jackson called Ralph Bakshi up for was requesting if he could hold his beer.
Oh, that was mean, Expert Kyle.
Those movies are timeless, goddammit.
Oh, you know what? Before I forget about Helm's Deep, John, you've been complaining about the music. Did you enjoy the music? Because there was so much music in that battle scene. I was like, John cannot say there was no music now.
I cannot. Yeah, a lot of this movie, no music, but is music the same as good music?
Wait, okay. Speaking of music, I have a question for our viewers because I went down a rabbit hole trying to figure it out. So the war horns as the dwarves are approaching, they're like, I'm like, these are way not like something I would expect as orc war horns, right? And I'm like, is that like some sort of cavalry trumpet or something from back in the day? Like, and I tried to find what type of horn call that was.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sorry.
So if anyone knows what that is.
Oh, you never found it.
I never found it.
I thought Expert Kyle's going to drop some knowledge at the end there.
Well,
never found it.
It makes sense though, because this horn does not exist in our world. It's Middle Earth.
But it's in the movie.
I'm just joking.
Nick, you're rotting your brain
Kyle.
of the Hobbit's pipe weed.
Kyle, live action or animated?
Oh, live action for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely live action all the way, baby. Woo!
But you know what?
Give me that animated tree beard all day, though.
But you know what
though? There's some great moments.
There are.
Yes,
there are.
for sure.
There's no denying it.
Yeah.
And we covered them all in our other videos. Go watch them.
Yes, a lot of fun. I actually, even though I love the depiction of the Balrog in the live action, I love the crazy, evil, like devil-looking look of Man Bear Pig in the animated version.
And then Boromir's death was so good too. I was like, dude, there's so much emotion here when he has like 50 arrows in his body and he's like pulling them out. He's like, I'm like, dude, that was bloodier than the live action one, dude. Like, come on, dude.
Really, really good stuff. So, you guys, if you had takeaways, let us know down below. We'd love to hear that stuff. If you have other videos, I love these old animated movies. And if you have other animated movies that come from this same time period you think we should check out, we'd love to do that. We love old animated stuff, so that'd be really, really fun.
Fritz the Cat, let's do it. Sorry.
Oh, I've never seen that. Never seen that.
Oh my
We're
god.
not, I don't
really?
know if that's
Oh,
rated for this
we-
channel.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
We got to blur a lot of stuff out.
We would have to blur a lot of stuff out.
All right, guys. So check out Picos with the Zero for Kyle's Instagram. A lot of awesome artwork. Working on some cool sci-fi stuff as well. So check that out. Check out AsArt.space, the audio and video links.
And our TikTok.
Just podcast links. Yeah, and TikTok. A lot of fun stuff on there. Check all that out, and we will see you on the next AsArt.
Yeah, the pipe finally came in handy.